There we are, wet that off like that. And so we've got that piece of dry stone wall pointing down the hill. Tones on it are darker than the foreground, the midground and the background. I'm going to use some fairly dark marks here now, with a mixture again of blue and brown, just to get some little pieces of, this is a fan brush, and I'm just lifting up some little pieces of perhaps grass or something that's showing above the thing, just a little bit of banking standing out there. And then on the other side we could perhaps have another bit of banking that may be sitting in front of just some other bits of grasses or whatever, sitting in front of what may be the other side of a path or whatever. We don't know. Maybe, yes, maybe I'll put some other piece of dry stone wall here, so I'll do the same principle as I did before. Blue on quite thickly, running off, getting smaller as it runs down this hill, and then some bits and pieces of brown in there, so we get a mixture of colours, mixture of tones. And then back to the razor blade to put some coping stones on. Now this time the light's still coming from the right, so I'll try and make the coping stones look as if they're being lit from the right. I'm not too worried as they go downhill, but they're going to get smaller. So there we are, we've got some bits on the top there. We now need to do just a bit of scraping on this wall just to create some bits of interest in there. We can always darken this when we scrape. If it doesn't look quite right, we can always come back in and do some darkening later on when it's dry. But this will give us a feel that there's something happening by there. So we've got two bits of wall. Let's clean away some of this water. Once again, with a thirsty brush, I'll just pull some bits away up to the wall, as if there's been perhaps some snow moving around, just some bits and pieces of shadow happening there. There we go. So the wall's running downhill. Now on the top of the coping stones there could be a bit of snow. Now if there was, then we'd need to perhaps either scrape some lights off to get the paint off. We may have to come in with some paint later on if we wanted to put something behind them. I think I'll not worry too much about that side, the right hand side of the picture. I think what I'll do over on the left hand side of the picture is using a very dark ultramarine mix. I'll go over to the other side of the paper using the fan brush, because the fan brush is slightly haphazard in its use, and for that reason it's quite useful. And I'll put behind it some nearby conifer trees. Now this is not going to actually touch the top of the stones. I'm leaving a slight gap to indicate there may be a little bit of snow there. So, but this is just sideways movements of this thing. It's given us a conifer tree now, which is in the foreground, and it's sitting behind this left-hand dry stone wall. And we'll put another one there here. Let's start at the top, just get the top bits in, and you find that most brushes are good for something, and this fan brush is very good for doing trees. So try not to come right the way down, because then if I wanted there to be snow standing on top of these this wall, then it gives me a chance to put a little bit of white there. I'll leave a little bit of white there, I should say. So there we are. We have a couple of trees standing there. Now we could have perhaps a different type of tree down here, using a just a round brush, and this is a nylon round brush. I'll just run up a